Louis Evely was a great Belgian Catholic spiritual writer who published That Man Is You in 1963. It's a very interesting work of Catholic spiritual theology in the sense that it's written in a kind of a free-flowing verse, and it harnesses some of the biblical ferment occurring at the Second Vatican Council and has a fresh way of putting us in contact with the realities and spirit of the sacred scriptures. I'd like to give you just a few examples of the type of writing he does. Here is a passage in which he shows that our super activist mentality is in the end not very productive. He writes, "A Trappist friend of mine used to say, 'It's not enough to apply the brakes on your car. You must also cut the motor that's racing inside.' The engine of our solicitudes is still whirring at top speed. It has to slacken, decelerate, and turn at an easier pace. We have to move in time with another rhythm, gear our will to another will, learn to connect with a slow-paced, quiet, powerful, and steady motor of God's will." So we see Evely saying just so effectively that we have to kind of allow our the interior dimension of our lives to be nourished in silence, to calm down so that we can be really reflective about our living. And when we are reflective and prayerful, the time we take to be silent actually makes us much more productive in the realm of action. Evely also talks about the defense mechanisms we have and put up in regard to shielding ourselves from the presence and influence of God. He writes, "We all feel the need of a few projects to shield us from God. We imagine He can't nourish us. What we must do instead is to disencumber ourselves, even of major problems, even vital ones. He'll discuss all that with us in His own good time and in His own way. It's none of our business, but His. It's His worry far more than ours." So often when we sit down to pray, our time of prayer can be dominated by what we experience that day, the conflicts, the contradictions, the worries we have about what we need to get done, or the projects or crosses that we're dealing with. Evely is encouraging us to really to go straight to God, to rest in God, realizing that the most productive thing we can do in terms of dealing with the most difficult and complex problem of our lives is precisely to rest in the presence of God and to soak in His presence. That is so key, so important a lesson for our interior lives. Not to use our time of prayer as times of worry, but as times of giving glory to God.